Hello and welcome to Matchday 3 of the Championship predictions from the Honest Football Podcast. I'm Craig Savage and with me, as always, is Daniel Cody and Charlie Betts. Only one correct scoreline from the three of us last week, same as the first weekend, and that was my result from Luton Town versus Derby, which did end up 2-1. So there has been some change in the table. At the bottom is still Charlie. He's now on 10 points. Second place is now Daniel Cody on 11. And myself is now on 13. Top of the table by 2 points. He's now got a perfect score. Let's see what happens.
I just add, it's such fine margins. If Huddersfield hadn't let in one more goal, I'd have gone top. So it just shows how tight this is.
As I said in week one, it's all to play for. Let's move on to match day 3. We'll start with the Friday night football. It's Huddersfield Town versus Nottingham Forest. Huddersfield lost to Brentford the weekend. Forest lost to Cardiff. Like 2 defeats in a row for Forest. And watching Forest briefly on Saturday, they were very, very poor defensively. Keeper Moore just got his head on it. And very weak defensively from the set piece. I can't see if Forest win, to be honest. I think they need to get that vital win now if they really want to be pushing for the top of the championship. So I'm going to go for Forest to win 2-1. Cody.
I think Forest have signed Cyrus Christie this week on loan from Fulham.
Yes.
Huddersfield have signed a young midfielder from Ajax that I don't know a great deal about, to be honest. But Huddersfield have been woeful. Nottingham Forest have a good side, but have been equally woeful. So it makes it quite a hard one to predict. But, I have to go for Forest to edge it. 2-1, even though everything's telling me not to.
Charlie.
See, the thing is, if you go by the form, but you go for a draw, wouldn't you? But I've predicted Nottingham Forest to get promoted, so I have to back them. It could be one of those that they give one team a bit of a hiding and then they roll on from there and go 10 games unbeaten or something like that. I mean, I can't see it at the minute, but that's what I'm banking on in terms of my prediction. So I do think I'm going to back Forest. They leak goals, though. I can't see them keeping a clean sheet, but it could be the week they hit a little bit of form up front. So I'm going to go 3-1, but that's such a tentative sort of guess.
As we move on to Saturday, 12:30 kickoffs, it's the M1 derby, the Beds Hearts derby. It's Watford versus Luton Town, a game 14 years in the making. Starting off with the non-Luton fan, Charlie Betts.
I said this to you, at the beginning of the season. Against most teams, I would back Luton away from home. So at the very least, not lose. So I'm going to stick with that. I sort of put my neck on the line by saying it before. So I'm going to go for a draw. I think that Watford has still got quite a bit going forward. Luton have turned over some great results recently away from home. I mean, maybe I'm being too conservative. I can't see a Watford win. I don't know. I'm going to stick with a draw, but I'm going to go a few goals in this. 2-2.
Cody.
A hard one to predict. Can I firstly just thank the EFL for moving a behind closed door game to 12:45 due to police recommendations. So I'm now at work and can't see the first half. Bloody fantastic. Secondly, I don't know. Everything's telling me that we should go for Watford. I honestly believe that there will be red cards in this game. I can't see any way there won't be. And as a result, I think Luton will get the first one. And that's making me just say that Watford will win. But I'm hoping when I don't normally go for a Luton win, they do win. So Watford to win 2-1.
I'm going to go for passion. I'm going to go for pride. And I think Luton Town will have enough to beat Watford this weekend. You've got to bet the boys. You've got to bet. It's a local derby.
Well, somebody's getting a point from that game out of us three anyway. We've gone for an away win, home win, and a draw. So somebody's getting it right.
Something's probably called off now. Hopefully not. But it's a big week for Luton Town. They've got Manchester United in the League Cup. Well, by the time this goes out, they've probably played and probably beaten Manchester United in the League Cup. No, I'm joking. We don't know the result yet. I think. I generally think it's Watford needed the fans for this one. I really do, because I don't know why. I read on Twitter and on Facebook that they seem to be running scared, and I don't know why. Luton's going to be up for it anyway. Nathan Jones are getting down. I think the players will know that Mick Harford's obviously in the background as well. He'll tell you what a derby's all about, and that's where I think Luton will just edge it 2-1. Mate Spring 40 yards, and I'm joking. Luton will win this one 2-1. The other 12:30 game on Sky, which I can't understand why this game's on Sky. It's Wycombe versus Swansea. Wycombe got dicked 5-0 at the weekend. The Blackburn's a harsh reality check. And I think it's just going to get just as bad as well. Swansea took a point at the weekend.
Yep.
So still unbeaten in their ways. I still think Swansea will win this one comfortably. I think they're going to win 3-0. Charlie.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything points towards a Swansea win. I don't think that it'll be, I think Wycombe will get beat. I don't think it'll be as heavy because as great as Swansea are, in terms of, they picked up some good wins and draws and stuff. I think that they don't score loads and loads of goal for fun, in the way that Blackburn did. I know Blackburn leak a lot of the other end will go on to them later on, but Blackburn are quite good going forward. I think Swansea are slightly more conservative, a bit tighter. So I still think it'll be a Swansea win, but I don't think it'll be 5-0. So I'm just going to go for a 2-0 Swansea win.
Cody.
Yeah, pretty similar actually. I had got 2-0 down. I don't know whether I'm going to stick with that now because I want to try and get some more points on people. But
I'm bottom, don't be chasing me.
I think that Wycombe might come out with a little bit more to prove and will probably keep it tighter for a while. And as a result, I'm going to go for just 1-0 to Swansea, maybe a second half goal.
Barnsley at Oakwell. They're home to Coventry. Coventry picked up a valuable 3-2 win on the at St Andrews against QPR, which none of us expected. And Barnsley lost at the weekend. 2 defeats in a row now for Barnsley in the league. Cody, how do you see this one going?
I mean, I had Barnsley to finish bottom. There's nothing that's happened so far this season that's changed my mind on that. Coventry's result was a shock. I mean, the fact that QPR let them have 3 goals despite them being a low scorer in League One is amazing. But we said to QPR, didn't we? We all went for QPR win and said we wouldn't be surprised if they lost 6-1. So, it was going that sort of way. But QPR were awful, so I don't want to read too much into Coventry's result. I think this will be a really tight game. It'll probably be one of the most tense ones of the weekend. And as a result, I'm going for a 1-1 draw, Craig.
Charlie?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'll be a draw, but I don't think there'll be any goals in it. I think, we've spoken about Barnsley and their faults. Coventry, despite the 3 goals that they scored, we've really hammered home about how they lack a bit up front and the whole Tyler Walker gate and all of that. So I do think that they played, QPR are so bad at the back, no matter which way we dress it up. So I think it's going to be 0-0, ball draw, 0-0, no goals.
I think this will be another tight game, and I think it will be the odd goal that will win this one. And I think it's going to go to Barnsley. And you doubt me when I said Bristol City beat Stoke. I was proven right. So, no, I think this will be a really tight one. It literally could go either way. It could literally go either way, in my opinion. But I'm going to go for Barnsley, just to be Coventry 1-0. Next game is at St Andrews. It's Birmingham City versus Rotherham. Charlie's done with you.
Well, I mean, you've got to back Birmingham, haven't you? Rotherham, I know that they've been a bit plucky. They've been very, sort of stout. But I think Birmingham have got too much quality. They've signed well over the summer. We spoke about that a few times, picked up some good points already. So, yeah, I think it'll be a Birmingham win. I don't think it'll be a landslide, but in terms of possession and stuff, I think Birmingham will be, the much more dominant side. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Birmingham City win.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be one of these games is going to be tight as well. Rotherham 3 points out of the first 6 games. Sorry, Birmingham 4 points out of 6. But I think Birmingham delighted to be with 4 points out of the 6 so far. And I think I don't think it becomes. I think it'll be another tight game. I'm going to go for Birmingham 2, Rotherham 1. Cody.
Well, I can't go for Rotherham 1 because I saw a stat in the week about Aitor Karanka that nearly 50% of the games he's managed in the Championship, he's kept a clean sheet across his 3 clubs, which is pretty miraculous. He signed a Spanish international centre-half this week, which is bordering on ridiculous. Scott Hogan's come back. They've been so impressive in the window, and a bit like the Bristol City one. If they'd been a couple of weeks later and we'd got to now, I probably would have had Birmingham top 6. The only thing that can go wrong is off the pitch, but that hasn't happened yet. So I'm going to go for a Birmingham win. And because it's Karanka, they'll never score more than 2. 2-0.
Up next is Cardiff City against Reading at the Cardiff City Stadium. Cody's done with you.
2 teams that played well last weekend. Reading have started on fire. Cardiff, a good result of Forest, but how much can you read into that? Because Forest have been absolute poo so far this season. So I really don't know which way to go. I wanted to play it safe and go for a draw, but I think Kiefer Moore's going to nick the odd goal. Charlie, it's not that much of a hilarious word as we're adults now. 2-1 Cardiff.
I've been teaching kids all day, so just hearing the word poo. Sorry, anyway, go on. Sorry, Craig.
Well, you might as well get to your opinion then. Cardiff, are you ready? Who have you gone for?
Well, I mean, Reading is such good form, but they do have that ability to implode. And part of me does think it is this week. You know, Cardiff, they sort of grind out results. They're well organised, they're well drilled. And I just think that actually they'd have worked hard to stifle Reading. With a team of analysts and all that sort of thing. 2 games now that Reading have played, it gives you a bit more evidence of how they play. So for me, actually, I think Cardiff are well drilled. I think they'll grind out a 1-0 win against them, actually. I do think that they'll put a stop to Reading's winning streak so far.
I'm going to keep saying it's another tight game. It really is. I'm very undecisive with this one because, as you say, Cardiff picked up a good 2-0 win. Reading started the season well. 1-1. I'm going to go for 1-1. Play safe. Straight down the middle. 1-1 on the fence. Next up, Derby. 2 defeats in a row now for Derby. They're playing Blackburn at Pride Park. Do you know what? Cody, you watched the game against Luton on Saturday, and you said first 20 minutes of the second half, Derby were well on top.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think they lost the game?
The first half, in essence, they had no pace in the side. They brought on Louis Sibley at half-time, dropped Rooney back into the holding role. The way Luton play, he got time on the ball on the way to halfway line, and he was just spraying it wide. The first half, they showed nothing. And unless they've got runners in behind, their players don't really flourish. And that's what changed in the second half. But then they were leaky at the back. They struggled from crosses, and it ended up costing them the game. So they didn't impress me, but I don't want to influence your scoreline too much.
Well, carry on. What's your scoreline first, and I'll get to mine.
Well, the only thing that's changed for Derby this week is they've signed Jordan Ibe on a free transfer since he's been released from Bournemouth. And if they get the best out of him, it'll be great. But I can't see that happening this week. But it does give them another runner, pace in behind, out wide. They've got a bit of extra guile. So I'm tempted for Derby to get back to winning ways, as poor as they were. So I'm going to go a must-win game, and it's going to be a thriller, 3-2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those where I think Derby just need to scrape over the line to just get the points. I think Cochrane needs to learn how to just get over the line rather than they had all the possession on Saturday, but with no creativity in the area, you're not going to win games. And it's rare for Luton to be having more chances than the opposite team in the Championship this year. And that's not a dig at Luton Town. It's Derby's own fault how they lost the game. But do I see Derby winning this game against Blackburn? Yes, I do. I think it'll be another tight one, as I like to say. It's going to be 1-0 to Derby.
1-0 with Blackburn's defence. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I can only see Blackburn scoring. You know, they for whatever you think about them defensively, they've got an incredible record going forward. Derby, I've leaked quite a few goals. So actually, for me, if you're going by the form book, and I know this is the Championship, we don't go by form. Maybe Blackburn probably will outscore Derby. The whole Kevin Keegan sort of cliched approach. So I'm going to back Blackburn to get quite a few. I'm going to go for 3-1 Blackburn Rovers.
Up next is a London derby. It's Millwall versus Brentford. Charlie, starting with you.
Well, I don't know. Before the season, I would have backed Brentford, but I don't know. Millwall, I don't. I'm going to play safe. I'm going for a draw. Brentford have, picked up a little bit since, but they still seem to be shipping players as the week goes by. So, but Millwall is so well organised, so well drilled. It's a settled squad. Maybe, I don't know, I need to claw some points back. Do you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to go for a Millwall win. Millwall 2-1.
Oh, Cody.
I'm sticking with Charlie's original, which is a tight game. Brentford did score goals at the weekend, but it was against Huddersfield, and they're a poor side who I predicted to go down. Millwall nicked a classic 1-0 away win. So I think it's going to be a really tight game. Brentford are losing attacking players quickly, and who knows who they'll have lining up by Saturday. So I'm going to go for 0-0.
Well, I'm also going to go with Charlie's original prediction of a draw as well. But not as a no-score draw. What Cody said, I'm going to go for a high-scoring game of the week. 2-2. Wow. Millwall v Brentford. I really do think this is going to be a really cracking game of football. I really do. Anyway, moving on. Next game is Preston North End versus Stoke City. Stoke City lost to Bristol City at the weekend. Preston picked up a point at Carrow Road. That's a very good point. With fans. They had fans there, which is nice to see. And then Boris Johnson's ruined it again. So let's start off with myself. I'm going to go first on this one. Preston, that's a good point, I'll be honest. So I think they're going to sneak this one again. I'm going to not blame John Maynard Mikel this week. He probably dropped. So I'm going to go for Preston to win 2-1. Charlie?
Well, Preston nearly made me look like I knew a little bit about the EFL, if I'm honest, because they were leading twice against Norwich, and I'd have looked like an absolute genius, but alas, it wasn't to be. But no, Preston, they did this last year, started the season brilliantly, and for whatever reason, tailed off. But seems to make another great fist of the beginning of the season. I've backed Stoke to go into the playoffs. I do believe still in Michael O'Neill and John Over Mikel Atal. So on that, I've sort of got to go that I can't really split the two of them, so I'm going to have to go for a draw. And I'm going to have to go for a 1-1 draw between the two, purely because I can't really split a difference between the two sides. Even though, really, going by form, probably Preston should come out on top of this.
Cody?
I've got a feeling this season Stoke are going to be better on the road until we're back to fans and hopefully full houses, because they always relied on the home hostile atmosphere. On the road, they've got an organised setup, a good manager, and he got good results with Northern Ireland on the road, so I'm hoping he'll do the same with Stoke. Preston always start well, gradually fall away, which makes this game probably the hardest to predict to the weekend. But I'm going for Stoke to nick an away win by 2-1.
Up next is Queen's Park Rangers versus Middlesbrough. Neil Warnock will not return to one of his many former clubs. He's obviously contracted COVID, and we wish him obviously a speedy recovery and hopefully get back onto the dugout as soon as possible. QPR lost to Coventry on Friday night. Middlesbrough. Did they pick up a point, Middlesbrough?
Yeah, home to Bournemouth.
Oh, that's a good result, actually. Yeah, that's it. So it could literally go either way. Literally could go either way. I'm not sure. I'm really struggling with this one. I'm going to wait my prediction because I did have a draw, but I'm going to change my mind until I hear your two opinions. So I started off with Cody.
Is that allowed? I'm not quite sure. But I guess the big news this week, and I don't know if you know it, Craig, is Middlesbrough have paid out for from a Greek side, signed Chuba Akpom, the former Arsenal youngster.
Yes.
So
and
that could make a big difference.
I've got a little stat for you. The last 2 times Chuba Akpom's appeared in the Championship, the 2 teams have got promoted.
Oh.
So
there you go. The stats in this episode are unbelievable, I've got to say. From beginning to end, it's just been brilliant. But yeah,
how many of them are right? We don't know. I guess for me, Middlesbrough, they're going to miss not having Neil Warnock there, although they did get a good result at the weekend. QPR, on the premise that the first game they were very good, the second game they were awful, I have to predict that they're going to be very good this week, just by common courtesy. So I'm going to go for QPR to nick it by 3-1 with Chuba Akpom getting a goal.
Charlie?
Well, I mean, QPR are a riddle wrapped in an enigma, aren't they? It's just like... I honestly cannot work them out. They go from lose their strikers and then end up scoring against Nottingham, win against Nottingham Forest and keep a clean sheet, but then get rolled the following week, Coventry City. So they leak goals. So I think no matter what happens, Middlesbrough are going to score. I think Middlesbrough will nick a win here. It's 2-1. But again, with QPR, it could honestly go the other way and they could win it 4-2. I honestly don't know which way to go. So I'm going to stick with Middlesbrough 2-1, but it genuinely wouldn't surprise me if it goes the other way. But it won't be a draw anyway, he says.
Well, I originally had draw as my prediction, and after listening to both of you, I'm going to stick with a draw because it guarantees one of us to have a point. No, to be honest, I don't think this game is going to be good. I really don't. This Middlesbrough team is not strong yet, and I think Bettinelli hasn't started the season well in goal for Middlesbrough. I'm a bit disappointed in him. But with some longer and Fletcher up top, they should be scoring more goals. They really should. But it's that creativity behind that needs them to score goals. QPR, watched a little bit on them. I don't. Dykes only had a penalty, which he only did that last week as well against Forest. But yeah, I wasn't really impressed with QPR. No, I'm going to stick with a 1-1 draw. Play safe, down the middle, 1-1 draw.
On the fence again.
Oh, yeah, great.
A nice layup with a 7-iron, that, isn't it? That's the equivalent.
Run it onto the green. On to Sunday's games. Bristol City versus Sheffield Wednesday at Ashton Gate. Cody, start with you.
Oh, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Should be a great game. Should be a great game. Everything would suggest so. Sheffield Wednesday followed up a brilliant away performance with a solid one at home to my title pick, Watford. Bristol City on the road, we mentioned already. Both of them have a threat. And for the first time, I think today, I'm going to be the one sitting on the fence because I can't separate them. So 1-1 for me.
Yeah, I agree. Well, actually, no, I don't agree. I don't know why I said yes. To be honest, I think this is going to be another tight game. I really do. I think Bristol City, brilliant result against Stoke. Sheffield Wednesday surprisingly started the season well, 4 points out of the out of possible 6, but still on the table. I think Bristol City will sneak this one 1-0. Charlie.
I mean, if you were to say to a game to watch, if you could only watch one game this weekend, you didn't support a team in the Championship, it would definitely be that one, I think, because there's two good attacking teams in form with good, big name players as well. So I don't know, it's such a tough one. Bristol City have started so well, and I feel like we looked so silly in that predictions show that we did, but we had no idea about the quality of signings they were going to make in such a short period of time. With that in mind, though, I still think that Sheffield Wednesday, they've got a bit of resilience about them now, and they're not they've got some good attacking players. It's Bristol City. I think now people are starting to take it a bit more seriously. So I actually think Sheffield Wednesday might sneak a little win there. And I know I'm going against everything that probably everyone else is saying in the football world, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 Sheffield Wednesday win.
That's rare for them to keep clean sheets, but okay, cool.
That's why it happened this week.
Cool. And the final game of the weekend, it's a battle between two former Premier League sides from last season. It's Bournemouth versus Norwich City. Charlie, starting with you.
I think this suits Norwich a bit more. I think I mentioned it last week about Preston and the sort of burliness and the physicality of Preston. Whereas I think Bournemouth, if you look at their players, generally a bit more technical, a bit more. Will give hope. You'd like from a Norwich perspective, will give you a bit more time to play and things like that. So I can only really see this benefiting Norwich. Oh, he's gone. Is he back?
Apologies. We seem to have swapped places with Daniel Cody and Charlie. Charlie Betts is now at the top and the left-hand corner of the screen, and Al Cody's been relegated to the bottom. Charlie.
So this for me suits Norwich. I think last week they played against Preston, obviously as you mentioned, sort of physical, that kind of thing, and obviously didn't lose, but were behind twice. So I think playing Bournemouth a bit more technical will suit them. So I think this is going towards a Norwich win. Obviously there was speculation about Max Aarons during the week. How true that is, I don't know. Has it unsettled him? Because he is obviously a key player for them. I'd like to think not yet. If he's going to go, then great. But if he's not, hope it doesn't affect his form for Norwich. But I'm banking on him having a good game, and I'm banking on Norwich getting a result, and I think it's going to go 2-1 Norwich City.
Cody.
I kind of agree with Charlie's sentiments that both teams will score. It will be an end-to-end game. Both teams are notoriously leaky at the back, both Premier League-wise and probably Championship-wise now as well. I think, again, it does suit Norwich on the road a bit more. So I'm going to go for a slightly higher scoring game. And this is the one where I'm going to throw in my wild card. So I'm going to go for Norwich City to win 5-2 at Bournemouth. Because beyond 2-2, it could be any score. So I'm going for 5-2 and hoping I can snick 3 points. And if Norwich win, I'll get one anyway.
I cannot. I'm not the one who makes the rules, but if that comes in, you should probably get 10 points for that result if that actually comes in.
I'm fully supportive of that.
if that result comes in, right? If that result comes in, right? Hear me out. I'll give you 3 points.
Very kind of you.
3 points only. Okay, so
and I will sing about it on Twitter all week.
You can sing about it on Twitter all week, and we can start off next week's Championship predictions with a 5-2 result. However, my final prediction of this weekend of Bournemouth versus Norwich, I actually 100% agree with Charlie's, whatever he said.
Don't agree. I'm bottom of the league. Don't do that.
No, I think you nailed it spot on, to be honest, with how you said it. So I'm also going to go with a 2-1 win for Norwich. And those are predictions of Matchday 3 of the Championship predictions this weekend. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know in the comments section down below, and let me know your scores, because we're losing to people in the comments section. So how good are we? No, Mark, you carry on, Mark. You're doing a good job. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and you can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3, and we'll see you next time.